Alright, end is in sight. We got, hopefully you guys did the left arm on your own. I didn't show that in another video because that would have taken up entirely too much time. So, here we are left with the complete arm and the gun. Now, this part we're going to export it and get it ready for the game. We're also going to set it up in its default position, which is going to be the position that the gun will always snap back to after every animation, and that is very important as well. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to export this. We're going to make sure we have the mesh selected, so that's the only way we can get to this window, and we're going to press export. And right now we don't have any dummies or collision spheres, so just press select. We'll add that after we're done. I'll export it directly to C, RF Toolkit, and C-Crunch. We'll name this Tut Beretta BCM. Save. And I think that should be it for now. Right now we're also going to have to freeze this. Freeze the arm set. So all we have is the bones. I have to find the left view. And before, I remember I had you guys dismantle the pistol. By now, the pieces should be able to move back together, so let's move the pistol and back and everything back into place where it belongs. This is the way it's supposed to be. And move the silencer right here. And there we go, there's the pistol. Just the way we wanted it. Now, like before, we'll have to rotate the pistol and put it in position. Make sure angle snapping is on. Where is it? Angle snapping. Rotate it 90 degrees this way. And 90 degrees this way. And we'll move it onto the hand. Just like before, we're going to move the pistol into place. But this time it's the actual mesh that we're moving with the bones. Alright. Everything seems to be in order. Now, if we're going to use the biped, which I suggest we should, we're going to have to unhide it. Okay. This next part's going to be kind of tedious, but we should all, I think everyone who wants to use a biped to make animation easier should do this. We'll hide the bones for the gun. Hide selection. And then we'll start linking up the bones to the biped. We'll hide these so they don't get in the way. Okay, the way this will work is we have to link the bones to the biped. These bones will have to be children of the biped. So that way when we move the biped, we move the bones. So basically we're just going to be linking green to blue. And I need to get these damn dummies out of the way. So hang on a second. Untick geometry, select all these, and hide. Get our linking tool. We'll click and hold. And we're going to do this for all the bones on the hand. Green to blue. It's the hand bone. We need to get the thumb. And that's it for the biped setup. Okay. Now we should hide all the bones. Turn this off. All bones. Yes. Instead of clicking all bones, we should just select bones, because these are just the hand bones. We still need the bones for the pistol. So you just hide selection. And this is what we'll be using to animate. You'll also notice now if we move these around, it will still move around as expected. As soon as you got this done, do a file save as with the underscore and bip at the end. This is only for the people that want to use bipeds. You could animate properly. You could still animate fully with without biped, but it's a bit more tedious and you have to move all the bones manually. This just makes it a little easier. But I personally, I don't like this thing because it always crashes on me when I try to use it. So anyways, with that out of the way, we'll start moving these bones into position like it's actually holding the pistol. Thumb doesn't need any much modifying. Make sure we turn this on local. And then we'll move the rest of the fingers into position. And that's what we should have so far. It's kind of a big Beretta. I should have resized it a little bit, but that's fine. Once we got that, we'll rotate this with angle snap 90 degrees. And then we'll rotate it 90 degrees like this. Now this is where the camera comes into play. We'll have to unhide the camera. Go right here. So this little TV set is called display. And we'll come down to unhide by name. Find the camera, hit unhide. Earlier I accidentally pressed a button. I realized it, pressed orthographic view. We don't want that on. I'll show you. For right now, we have to sacrifice one of our viewports. So we'll sacrifice the front one. Put it on camera 1. As you see, this is an orthographic view. It's very flat. We want it to have perspective, so we'll just take that out. We can see the pistol in this view already, but it's not in proper position. We're going to have to fix that. So let's rotate these bones into place a little bit. We'll have to tilt it a little bit towards the center of the screen because it just doesn't look right. We can't really move these arms to positions, so we're going to have to improvise with what we have, the space that we have. You could also move the camera too, but it's better off leaving it where it's at. I'll have to rotate this just a little bit. And I'll have to bring this in a little bit because naturally from the first person perspective the guns are usually tilted towards the center of the screen, and the only thing that really matters is once on the screen. You don't see the arm all cocked off to the side like this improperly, but this is what we need to get it looking properly, so this is what we're going to do. Let's move it. We'll try to get a little bit of a forearm into the screen. Let's see how that looks. It looks kind of sloppy. We'll have to turn on smooth and highlight so we can see what's going on. Takes a little bit of positioning. That looks alright. Now, we need to get the second hand. We'll get the forearm and rotate it 180 degrees so it's laying upside down. Angle snap so you can see what we're doing. Rotate this 90 degrees. I just totally jacked up the arm. Hang on, let me undo a few steps. Once we got it like that, we'll rotate the forearm like this. Now we'll move the hand under the gun. Since we're also using limited space, it's going to be kind of difficult to get this look properly. As a last resort, we could always unhide the biped and move this shoulder pivot point into position so this arm has a little bit more space so we can work with. This is why it is vital to leave it in, what's it called? In this mode right here, in figure mode. It's vital that we leave it in figure mode until this point, because if we were to turn it off, we wouldn't be able to move the shoulder position. Oops, we don't want to touch those bones. Let's hide all the bones again. And then hide all the biped fingertips. Turn off angle snapping for more precise movements. Again, the arms could be cocked off to the side and, in an unrealistic position. only because the only thing that matters is what's shown on the screen. Move the thumbs a little bit. Moving these fingers is not necessary, but for the sake of a better animation with that little anomalies, you'll put this in a realistic position, or semi-realistic. And this will be the default position for the pistol. You should probably forcibly move these a little bit so you can get a better projection on the camera. I want to move this out like there. We could also adjust it right here in this camera view too, in case we don't really like the way it's pointed. And then all we got to do is just move this over a little bit to compensate. But I guess that was a little very significant movement, so I don't really have to tweak it around. Let's hide the biped again and all this crap. And this will be the default position of the pistol. It looks alright. I think it might be off a little bit, but that's kind of good. I gotta turn out and maybe tilt it up just a little bit. And I think I like that result. Finally, we'll have to turn off figure mode when we want to animate, but before we do that, we're going to have to save it again. Final bit 2. Just in case we have to go back. That's the only reason why we save so many different copies. And this is the first person arm set for now. We're going to have to add dummies later on, but I usually don't do that until the end. But for the sake of doing it, just so you guys know, I'm going to go ahead and import a few dummies from previous projects that I've done. Scenes, AK-47. Oops, have to go to merge. You guys won't actually be doing this step. You could create the dummies. I'll show you how. But I'm just doing this because I don't remember the names of them. Here they are. Here are the dummies that we need. The muzzle and the shell eject. These are 2 extra dummies for the clip. I didn't add those until I needed to animate. So once we got these dummies, these are the dummies required. Let's unfreeze all. And freeze this. And then we'll move these dummies into position. The muzzle flash will move right here. This position looks a little off. The axis that this muzzle flash is facing is important. The X-axis needs to be facing towards the player, otherwise you will not see a muzzle flash at all. Let's go ahead and move this right here, rotate it a little bit, and that's fine. And then the shell eject, we can move that over here. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the x-axis is the axis that the bullet shells are ejected from. So I'll go ahead and move that around here where the hammer lets the bullet out. It's fine, doesn't need to be perfect. Once we got the dummies in place, we can link them. We have to link them if we want it to work properly. Press this link button, and we could also press this select by name to make it a lot easier, because I don't want to accidentally select the mesh or anything. So select and link, select by name, tick on geometry, and you want to pick the BD-BN gun body, and hit link. And that should link the dummies to the pistol. Alright, that seems to be in working order. And now we got our gun. It's pretty much complete by now. We can unfreeze all. We can re-export the model. This time select both of these dummies. Select. And then we'll re-export the VCM Tut Beretta and hit save. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's pretty much all there is to setting this up. Let's freeze this again. And then next we can start on the animations. But first we're going to process this. Actually, I think we're done here. So let me go to my C drive. We'll go to my RF Toolkit, C-Crunch folder, and here is the VCM file. We still need to crunch this with C-Crunch, so let me edit my batch file. And we'll name this Tut Beretta.vcm. Save it and exit. Oh, by the way, to make a batch file, all you need to do is just simply create a text file, text document, and just name it whatever.bat. Hit yes if that dialog pops up. And then to edit it, all you gotta do is just right click and edit, and it'll open it up in Notepad where you can. And to make this, all we gotta do is just hit match, and it will process the Beretta, and we will get the file that we need. We get rid of this, we don't need this. We'll go to our Red Faction directory, go to mods. I don't have a mod directory set up for this yet, so create a new one. Test Beretta, and we'll move our file in here. And that is the first step of getting our gun in the game. We still have a lot to do in 3ds Max though. And that's it for setting up the gun, putting it in its default position, and getting ready to animate. This is the last step that you'll be using any vertex weighting for from here on out. The only thing you can do is animate. So if you screwed up anywhere down the line and something's not working right, you gotta go all the way back to where you messed up. And that should be it.